Guess we're rolling, huh? Hola guys, ¿qué pasó? What's going on? This is Hala Pablo. Bitcoin update. Bitcoin update. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this video will be helpful to you if you're interested in crypto and in Bitcoin's present price action, in crypto and the crypto markets in general. I hope that these are beneficial to you, these little updates that I'm doing. If you can have the time, I'd appreciate a subscription or at least a thumbs up. That'll get this more on the algorithm for other traders to find. Okay, so without further ado, look guys, we are still within the rising wedge of Bitcoin. I pulled this out to the 6 hour and I wanted to show you something in the fractal format. You know, basically everything is fractal. Fractal meaning what you're seeing is a smaller, basically replication of it on the larger, the macro and the micro. Basically the same. If you break a piece off the macro, you get the micro, which is a basically the same mirror image of what's going on in the macro. So basically what happens in the micro manifests in the macro, so on and so forth, if that makes any sense. Okay. So that being said, on the macro, let's do 6 hours. We could do 8 hours, 10 hours daily. It doesn't matter. It's going to show the same thing. Just we get more detail here. We are in a macro rising wedge. We already looked at the wedge. We've been discussing the fact that Bitcoin has been in a wedge, a macro wedge, for some time now. And it hasn't changed. We're still in that wedge. We are up at macro trend resistance right now. And within the wedge, we see trending price action on an incline. So basically inside the wedge, we have a series of peaks and a series of low points, mountaintops and valleys as it consolidates upward. Okay, now the mountaintops or the tops, the distribution portion of it, is exactly the same as if you break down a component in a fractal format of the micro. So here I've done it here. We see this part here. This is a I don't know if you could see this, but this is a representation. This is a microcosm of what we're seeing here playing out on the micro, in the micro format. So we have our preliminary supply, for example, here, our buying climax up here, our upthrust, and then our upthrust after distribution here, where we see it came back down to macro trend, to retest macro trend support, and then it made its way up for yet another one. And then we see the same thing happening here, although this is a slightly different schematic for a distribution, but this is a distribution the same as this is a distribution. And this here is a distribution too, because we see that it marked down here. So this was a different kind of top. So there are different kinds of tops within the Wyckoff universe. But this one here, this first one here, that constitutes the beginning. This would be like the preliminary supply of this here. Here, I'm going to draw this here, right here. This area here, that is this area here on the macro, and so on and so forth. Can you see that? This is really important to grasp because we see price action repeating itself in fractal format. We see that in the Elliott waves. We see it in Wyckoff. And then this would be the buying climax. That's this. This is this on the macro. Okay. And then the UTAD, of course, here, which is another top. And we see that here. This whole area, these three tops, represent a crooked top. A crooked top. And that is, in essence, what rising wedges are, guys. Rising wedges are crooked tops. It's what I've been teaching. It's what I've been explaining. So that's why they are, in the long term, they are bullish. Bearish. They are distributive. They dump when you get to the top of a rising wedge. So at the end of this wedge, we see a UTAD forming. And that's why I believe that this is ultimately bearish. So what I'm expecting is basically what happened here. Oh, and here you see the micro trend lines here. Micro trend resistance and micro trend support. And here's macro trend resistance and macro trend support. And you see the wedge action here, and to where it came here, and it dumped right here. I meant here, this was the UTAD, not this area here. Now, what this means is we could come back down again from this UTAD point, just like it did here, and break through the structure where it did here, and come all the way down, maybe remitigate this area at 15,000, or in the low 20s. This is what we've been talking about, and then from there now we have the real reversal happening, and you see how this just shot back up right through the rising wedge, and it went to claim new highs. That's what we could see in the macro bull reversal, but that won't happen until next year, late spring, I'm thinking. But for now, make no mistake, all this ties in. This is a UTAD where we are right now. We could go up a little more. We could retest, and we could have some more FOMO price action. But eventually, the floor is going to fall out. Smart money is going to sell into this pump. And then the only ones holding a position will be weak hands, a.k.a. retail investors. And, of course, the retail weak hands, not strong enough. Their hands aren't strong enough to hold up the price. And so that's what makes it fall. Without institutional order flow, without the hedge funds, without smart money and the very deep pocket investors, Bitcoin is not able to stay afloat, and it will fall. And they're selling into this UTAD here. We see that we see that in the volume. We see clear predominance of supply throughout this wedge as we make our way towards the confluence of the wedge, this tip here. And so you're going to hear a lot of talk, especially if this breaks and the Bitcoin price approaches $40,000. You're going to hear a lot of talk about buying, that Bitcoin's going to the moon. I've been warning you. This video is another warning. Don't buy the top. Don't be the liquidity provider for the market makers. They're going to sell up here, and they're going to generate a lot of money because they're going to sell their position high. They buy low and they sell high. And guess who they're selling to when it gets real high? Yeah, they're selling to retail guys, people who just come into the markets. They think they know something about trading, and they suffer from Dunning-Kruger effect, basically not knowing as much as they think that they know. And you see that everywhere, especially in like the TradingView chat rooms and things like that. And a lot of these BS influencers, crypto guys on YouTube who really don't understand price action and volume. So and also pattern recognition. There's a lot of this is pattern recognition where you don't need indicators. You just see the you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows, kind of thing. You don't need a weather vane. If you just walk outside, you know that or you could look at the clouds and you know it's going to rain. You don't need a weatherman to tell you that. Same thing, you could look at the rising wedges, you could look at the falling wedges, you could look at the volume to price action ratio and the metrics there, and you don't need all these fancy highfalutin indicators to know what's going on in the markets. So that's what I wanted to, that's my message for this video. And then if we go, yeah, you can see here the Wyckoff. Here's the Wyckoff schematic. This is basically what we're looking at. Remember, here's the primary supply, the buying climax. Here's the UT, slightly higher. Now imagine this on a crooked, basically slanted, maybe 75% or something, slanted up. That's what a rising wedge is. All of this in a wedge. And you see how the price action is expanding because you have this last point of supply after the UTAD where the candles are expanding. That is distribution. And that's what causes the wedges to expand, or sometimes we have them narrowing as well. So we have broadening wedges, and then we have the other kinds of wedges. And this one, it looks like it's narrowing, or was it broadening? Let me see. I don't remember which one was it. So this one's narrowing. This one's tapering off. This is a traditional wedge. So when it gets to this UTAD, yeah, that's the distribution that we're seeing here, and that's where it falls. And that's and then let's see what else do we have that could possibly see these accumulation and distribution schematics that we have here. Yeah. And see, this incidentally is what we see coming out of those macro bull cycles. Remember that we talked about. You see this wedge here? It kind of looks like a channel, but it's a wedge which leads up to the UTAD. This is what we're in right now, up in this area here. actually up in this area where the UTAD is. And this is what happens when we come. Remember, I told you this is a liquidity generator. This is what they sell when they come out of these macro bull cycles. This is a counter trend top. The UTAD in this redistribution schematic is a counter trend top, and it comes back down. And this right here, after the series of last points of supply, LPSYs, where it bottoms out, this is actually where the macro bull cycles start. So that's on a separate note. That's where this is, but this ties into those previous videos that that we've done with the yeah. See, this is coming out of the bull cycle here, the macro bull that we had last year, and remember we came down here, and this was the PS here, and then we came down, and then we started this this wedge. And so we need to come back down and remitigate either to the lows, to the 15,009 or lower possibly, or not as low, maybe to the 20,000. If we go to the 0.5 Fibonacci, which would be midpoint, that'd be around 20,000 or something like that. Whatever the midpoint is between where we are now, 34.9 and 15, 20,000 thereabouts, 23,000 Bitcoin. In any case, we're going down at some point. We're going to top out here, come back down. We're going to break through structure. We're going to mitigate, and then the smart money investors are going to buy deeply here when it bottoms out and entrench themselves in a very lucrative position for the bull reversals that are coming next year. So don't buy up here. Just hang out. I'm not doing anything, guys. I don't trade during these times. If anything, I dollar cost average. I go by the Fibonacci retracements, and I dollar cost average in certain coins like AVAX, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum. But I'm not dollar cost averaging right now because I believe Bitcoin is going to fall. We can get much, much better prices if you just hang on, strong hands, and be patient. Everything is patience with crypto and trading in general. Patience. It's patience. It's patience. Just be patient. Okay, guys? If I could just convey anything, it's patience. I know it's hard when everyone's doing stuff and everyone's talking and generating hype and FOMO, fear of missing out. And you got to be real careful who you listen to, especially with these, some of these influencers who are paid to push their coins, to push their tokens. So just be smart, be wise. Subscribe to this channel. I'll never shill anything, and I'll just tell it to you straight up the way it is. If you like no nonsense crypto analysis, technical analysis, you want to learn the ins and outs of Wyckoff and volume spread analysis, then yeah, subscribe and give me thumbs up, and just let me know that this is helping you. It makes it all worthwhile to me. And if I could save you on market tuition, then yeah, I consider that mission accomplished. All right, guys, let me let you go. Thank you for tuning in again. My name is Hala Pablo, and we'll talk to you guys soon. All right. And again, none of this is financial advice, but you already knew that, right? All right. Okay. Bye.